Welcome, Badass Manifester. I am so glad you are here. I'm your host and head coach, Ashley Gordon, master mindset and manifestation biz expert, founder of the Quantum Coaching certification, and multiple six-figure entrepreneur obsessed with empowering you to create quantum leaps in your energy, your life, and your business. This is the show to help you make magic your everyday normal, where the ripple effect is real and the guest experts are world class. My mission is to power your conscious and subconscious mind with manifestation teachings, business tools, and coaching techniques to put your potential into action. Consider this your weekly up level. Are you ready for quantum transformation? Let's do this. Hi, Summer. I'm so excited that you are here with us today. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Badass Manifester podcast.
Sorry. Hi, Ashley. I was so excited. I just talked right over you.
Oh my God, stop. So let's kick off with just getting to know you a little bit more. Obviously I did your intro, but would love for you to share, like, what is your origin story? How did you kind of get into this work, and how did you create this amazing concept of Flowdreaming?
Yeah. Wow. An origin story is going to take me like 4 years to fully tell it. So condense it.
Exactly. It's way too hard to condense. So just like get to the parts that you want to share, and we'll be on our way.
Get to the good stuff. Get to the good stuff.
Yes.
Gosh, well, I ran away from this kind of work for as long as I possibly could when I was younger. Went to college for something completely different. Said to my family, I am not going to be a psychic and medium and do all that stuff that you guys do. So, of course, life brings you right on around. And the first place I ended up working for was the most major publishing house in Mind, Body, Spirit there is. So I got swept in despite my best efforts not to. Turns out, though, it was for a very good reason. There's a practice that I've done for a long time. Back in the early days of quote, quote, manifesting, it's what we did to make things happen. So I began sharing that with people, especially around the company. And they said, you should do a book on this. You should do a podcast on this. And we're talking back in 2005 now. So
wow,
a long time. Yeah.
You're an OG. From there,
OG. Oh, no, I look younger. Come on, look.
You look, you look amazing. You don't, no. I don't mean it like that. You look young. But you've been.
I'm sometimes embarrassed now to say, like, I've been doing this job not very long. Look how, great I look. Anyway.
Well, I do think there's something to that, like being in this industry and in this space for a long time. I think there's a lot of credibility and inspiration in that for everyone listening who may just be entering. So, yeah.
Exactly. And the people who I worked around, who I learned from day in and day out was, obviously Louise Hay and Dr. Wayne Dyer and Marianne Williamson and Abraham Hicks and Greg Braden and Joe Dispenza, like all of them. They were my learning opportunity. They were I call them my master's degree that I actually got paid to do, essentially, just by doing my job. So,
did you have personal connections and relationships with them?
Yeah.
Wow. Yes. That's so cool.
And to this day, it's again, if spirit, if flow, or your higher power, whatever you want to call it, wants the universe wants you to go into something, you're going to have so many kicks in the butt to do it. And some of those are going to be opportunities, and some of those are going to be things taken away from you, depending on whether you need the carrot or the stick at the given time. So I finally accepted that. And that's when, gosh, everything began flourishing. And I began sharing Flowdreaming with everybody, having initially believed like, it's nothing. I shouldn't even share it at all. It's just my own personal thing, only to discover that it actually works for a lot of people. Whereas meditation doesn't necessarily work for everybody. And I'm fall into that camp, unfortunately. So it's sort of like the alternative to meditation for creating things in your life, attracting, manifesting, all of it, healing.
I can't wait. I'm so excited to dive into it because, this is primarily a manifestation podcast. And so I love bringing on people that have different modalities to share that you've created. And what's interesting is in something that you just shared is like, you didn't think like this gift that you had given yourself of flow dreaming, and you didn't think it was like that special to the world. Like you were just like, this is just what I do. And I feel like that's so common where all of us have these unique gifts and they're so innate to who we are. Yet we like downgrade them or downplay them when actually it's like part of our mission and purpose to share it.
Yeah, 100%. I see it all the time. And I even see it in myself still. The
Yeah.
things that come so naturally to us,
Mm-hmm.
we think are not special.
Right.
And so we run around looking for what's the thing I can do? What's the thing I can share? What's the thing? And we often get ourselves in these really grinding, kind of arduous learning situations, trying to find something that we think is acceptable that really we're not even good at yet. But the main thing that we're actually good at, we don't even see it. We're blinded to it because we're incited. So
That
I
is
fully
like,
agree.
I just want to like echo that. And I wrote it down. The things that come naturally to us are what we doubt the most about ourselves. Where what if we were taught from a young age, like this comes naturally to you, like follow that. You know what I mean? Like lean into that. That's what this is a natural gift that you have. This is your medicine for the world. You know, it's just like, whoa, it's so backwards where we doubt it so much when it's really like our innate gift. Weird.
Yeah. I mean, think about all those people who are great at art or writing. And, they don't even try in English class. They just all get all A's. Everything is great. And then they're like, you need to go to school and you need to get your math grades up and you should probably go into accounting. And we don't see, nor are we suggested, if you do something well, do more of it. If you don't do it well, think hard if you really want to learn it, if you want to start from zero and go up. Is that really what your soul's calling you to do? Because I happen to think we develop our gifts over, goodness, how long? I don't know, millennia. So we are already coming in strong. Right. We forget that. It's like, great, go for it. You've got a limited time opportunity here. Make all the hay you can with this. So
yes. And remember the future, right? I was just listening to Dr. Joe Dispenza this morning. It just feels like it's so in alignment with what you're saying right now. It's just about like what we forgot coming into this physical realm. It's our job to remember and to then remember the future that we're here to create and here to live. So it's just like very cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah, 100%. So
anyway. Okay. What is flow dreaming?
Okay. It's flow dreaming, right? With an F, because sometimes people think it's slow dreaming, like the slow foods movement and stuff. Remember that? But so it is with an F, flow and dreaming. I don't know. It's just a word that a portmanteau. I put it together when I was trying to describe what this process feels like. There's a psychologist, Dr. Mihai's positive psychology, father of, etc. He first kind of put the idea of what flow is out into the world, but he kept it strictly in the realm of like science and, productivity, like get your better golf game or operate on all your best senses. If you're a scientist, you're in the zone. And I said, well, what I do, I feel like I get in the zone, but the area that I'm focusing in is opening up and talking to source, talking to the universe. Creating connectivity between what I call all the different, layers of myself. Like, what if that's my flow state? That's what happens there. And then dreaming came from the, odd way. I don't think it's odd, but the way that I get into flow, which is through what I call guided daydreaming. It's analogous to nighttime lucid dreaming, right? And when you wake up in your dream and you fly. So you follow your daydream. And you don't lose yourself inside of it. You stay very aware once you're in it, but there are some amazing hallmarks that happen. It's kind of trippy. You often lose sense of where you are. You lose track of how much time. It's just like when you're daydreaming and I always, classic one, you're driving home and you're like, oh my God,
how did I get here?
10 minutes. How did I get here? I hope I stopped at all the lights. Right? There's a part of you that's functional. Another part of you is way gone, like just somewhere else. So that's what we utilize to get into this flow state. And then once we're there, the question is, well, what do you do once you're in it? Because it's kind of cool just to feel it. But that's where I'm like, okay, now this is where I'm really stepping into that deep and I don't know, tremendous conversation. This is what I want. This is, and I call it creating a blueprint or a template, an energetic blueprint. Yet everybody creates like a plan for their life, their goals and the house I'm going to get.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Few people create all of that energetically as well. So I take this and separate it into two realms. There's action that we do, and then there is pre-action. One is the physical stuff. One is the non-physical stuff.
Okay.
So we're creating an energy blueprint. And the way we're doing that is we're communicating it in flow through the power of emotion. So that's the third thing. I always say Flowdreaming has 3 pillars: emotion, guided daydreaming, and of course, flow state. Bring them together and you're on fire.
Wow, that sounds incredible. Incredible.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell, I have so many questions.
In a nutshell.
Where do I want to take this right now? Couple directions.
Anywhere.
What's coming through right now is to ask you, like, out of Flowdreaming, what has been the biggest manifestation or one of your favorite manifestations that has happened in your life?
Look around. Like the life that I've actually created for myself right now. I mentioned that I started out in publishing, and I was dragged crying and screaming into, sharing this with the world. When I finally embraced it, just everything began changing in a tremendous way. I used to go to work. I'd leave at like 5:30 in the morning. I'd had to be there at 7. Got home at 6. I had 2 little kids, babies and toddlers. And I was really like, the thought of being able to work from home and or create my own company was really not even in my thoughts. Wow. And yet this all came together. So it really has to be the lifestyle that I've created. And I talk to people all the time, and they're like, how do I build my own brand? And and I'm like, look, you just go out and you start doing it. If you have something, some other people are probably going to like it and want to know more. That's it. So I like to say I built absolutely something from nothing.
I can so relate to that on every level. Yes. From nothing. It's so powerful. It's so powerful. Wow.
From a single book, a single practice that I would do with my family, my mom, my friends, eventually my coworkers out in the warehouse, the publishing company.
Wow.
And then kind of the world. And then people started just coming in and, virtually knocking at my door. Hey, can you show me how to do this? Hey, do you have any recordings of this? Hey, do you have any trainings? Yes.
So your book is, I would assume, is published by Hay House, right?
My first 2 books were published by Hay House.
Okay.
I reacquired the rights to them so that I could republish them and put them into multiple formats. So they're available on Amazon. My third book is actually from HCI.
Okay, cool.
They're the chicken soup people.
Okay.
So everybody knows them from those books.
Yes. But I think it's really cool, a cool part of your story to kind of put those pieces together where like you were working in publishing at Hay House, and maybe had you not, you wouldn't have had that connection right away to like be able to publish those books. Like everything led you to this.
Everything.
And for those of you listening, even if where you are doesn't make sense to you right now, trust the process.
Yeah. So, okay. In the latest book, right, I have a whole chapter. I call it In Between the Reefs, right? Because we often get into this state of, because talking about not being sure about where you are, you go from one place that's very known and comfortable, and you outgrow it, and you start to get fidgety, and people start to not be kind to you. Like I said, the carrot and the stick starts to happen, and you look, it's like little Nemo, right? You're looking off the reef and you're thinking, I wonder what's out there. It's just nothing but like nothing. But if I start swimming, and then you get into the middle of the big blue and you're all by yourself and you think, oh my God, that was such a mistake. I will never, ever find anything again. I'm going to lose it here. And then you think, how long will this go on for? When will it end? And eventually you always find that next reef, right? You find the next reef, and that's where all the new stuff opens for you. But when you're in that, swallowed in that interim space, it can be really difficult to have trust, right? That's something I love to teach about, is the trifecta of trust: trust in self, trust in others, and trust in the universe. And usually one or two or three of those are broken. They just get chipped away, eaten by time. But if you have that, you can make it to the next reef. And then eventually you want to tell all your old buddies on the last one, you guys, you should do this too. And they're like, no, we don't even like you anymore. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm here now.
Yes. That's so good. I love that metaphor so much because I think my subconscious mind just ate that up so good. And it's so powerful. But I feel like when you're in that, you know, that space of, I don't know where I am and I'm lost and this feels hard. And I think that's the space where a lot of transformation happens before maybe even before you find that reef, where you're in the space and you're transforming. Like, you have to go into, I know you talk about as well, I was looking on your website, like healing the past and creating the future. And I know what that means, but I'm just curious from your perspective, when you're in that deep blue sea and you feel really lost, like, what does it mean to you? How would you define healing your past?
Yeah. Well, first of all, you get into the deep blue multiple times in your life. This isn't just something that happens like in middle age or, you know. True. So if you go in with that perspective, which usually we don't until we've lived a few years, you eventually realize there's going to be multiple times that I'm going to hit this great blue in between. So you start asking a question then, what am I going to do the next time I enter it? How can I be different in it? Because I don't want to keep feeling just over my head and drowning in this space. So that's where a lot of us, I think, really engage in personal growth and healing, because we realize we're going to hit this again. I might hit it again in 3 years or 5 years. I don't know. Then we'll have this period of rampant abundance and lots of action and stuff going on. I often say it's like the tide coming in, because I live by the ocean, right? So the waves come in and it's really active, and then the tide pulls out and it's very quiet. And you look at the beach and you see all the things on the sand that you never see when the waves are crashing in and you're playing in the surf. You see the shells and you see the little buried treasures. It's a time for introspection. That's what being in the deep blue is. So I've learned how to really cultivate those times when I get into that deep blue. And part of that comes with inner healing. And I have a weird idea about healing, I guess. I'm kind of a spiritual anarchist, I guess, in some ways, but I think healing should happen every single day. I feel like if you are enjoying yourself, you're throwing a beautiful dinner party, your house is going to get wrecked. There's going to be mud on the floor. There's going to be dirty dishes, probably a broken glass or two if everybody got wild. You had a good time. You have evidence of it. You've got broken stuff everywhere. Every day, if you're really living, you're going to be sweeping up the debris. You're going to be cleaning up the little broken pieces that happen as a result. I think what happens, though, is we often get stuck and we don't want to clean the broken stuff. And we just want to pretend it's not there. We don't want to touch it. We don't trust our hearts to be able to get through that. So, you know, I believe your heart, I have a saying, your heart is meant to break. And people hate it when I say that. They're like, oh, it's terrible. I'm like, no, it's really wonderful. It's so wonderful. Yeah. You know, so...
because then it can expand more, right?
Yeah. I mean, think about your heart physically. It takes oxygen in from your lungs and it transports it through your blood, right? It feeds your body, it nourishes and nurtures you. It also picks up all the debris. And your blood then transports it back into your liver, your lymph, etc. Right? So your heart is constantly nourishing and cleaning up. Knows how to do that. Yet for some reason, emotionally, we always tell our heart, you can only nourish, you can't do the cleanup. Cleanup is bad, avoid it at all costs. I'm like, oh no, you don't want to do that to your body. You get full of junk. So
it's so your metaphors are amazing. Like you just teaching them. It's so beautiful. It's so true too. Like it's a parallel process with our physical health, right? Like the way that we can clean up emotionally every single day and heal every single day and be in that practice of inquiry every single day, the healthier we are.
Exactly. So I don't know if you know this, but when I was in my early 40s and both my kids were still in grade school, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, actually invasive. So it had spread. Yeah. So speaking of not holding things in your body anymore, I went on a kind of quest and talked with a lot of people. I talked with doctors about what do you see most the characteristics of people with heart disease or cancer or breast cancer in particular. It was really enlightening. This is not my field of expertise, but I said, don't you think people who have heart attacks, are they angry all the time? And they said, no, actually, they're the people who are overburdened all the time and who give too much all the time. And they never feel like they're able to get anything back or have anything seen. It's an incredible sadness. And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. And then, of course, cancer, breast cancer, feelings of being authentic, being truly loved, trust, partnership. A lot of stuff comes up that we kind of hold inside there.
Wow.
Anyway, that's again, I'm not an expert in that. But
no, of course.
I had to do
sharing that.
a lot of healing around that. A lot of healing.
And you healed yourself.
Well, I had a lot of help. I'll put it that way. Say the hardest thing for me is I'm like a split personality, right? I'm very sciencey and I'm very woo-woo. So I'm like, I want all my medical doctors and I'm going to do green juice fasting through all of my chemo. And my medical doctors are like, oh, that's weird. And I'm like, no, it's actually really, really good. So I had to get two sides of the spectrum on board. And it was kind of crazy, but I managed to do it. And yes, I've been cancer-free for 8 years now.
Wow. That's miracle. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that part of your story. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's important for people to hear because it's all so connected. And the fact that you know that and you can say that is in and of itself, like truly amazing. Well,
so many of us have like chronic diseases now. Yeah. I mean, just whether it's cancer or it's fibromyalgia or it's just they're proliferating. And so that's another reason a lot of us get driven into personal growth, right? What's going on? How come I can't stop this or cure this? And a bunch of stuff comes up. One, I went through, and I think a lot of people do, losing profound trust in their body. But your body is supposed to be your best friend, your ally for life. And suddenly it does something to totally screw you over with often no warning and no explanation. It's like being betrayed by your partner. Except that you can't get rid of this, you can't divorce this partner. You're stuck with them for the rest of your life, right?
Yeah.
So you have to go on a journey of healing your relationship with this partner. I will learn to trust you again. I will listen to you. I will discover what it is that maybe I call it the head and the heart. So there's another metaphor, the king and the queen.
Oh, I love that.
And this is not gender related whatsoever. It's just more classic.
It's just like archetypes.
Dichotomy. Yeah, exactly. Right. So the king might be saying, here's what you need to do in your life. And here's how you should be feeling. And you should feel like this. And you should be a good daughter. And you should do this. And you should do that. And the queen is saying, I'm dying inside. I'm dying inside. I'm dying inside. King is running the show because he's really, really good at it. And the king often provokes us through fear because it's so effective. If your mind can get you afraid of something, can send you into lack thinking, it's got so much control over you, you are so much less likely to disobey. So the queen starts to get kind of just shrunken. And I always say, the king is telling her, stay inside the castle because it's dangerous out there. Don't do that crazy thing. And the queen says, you can't make me just stay inside the castle. King says, I'm keeping you safe. And the queen says, you're killing. Is that safety? Right. So there's this dialogue that's always going on. So the heart for me is sort of the queen. And to bring this back to when you're going through, healing, a large or something going on in you, it's often because the king has been driving you in a certain direction and you've just been doing it because no one ever told you any other way. And that's the time for you to go, oh my God, what happens if I listen to that heart and trust it? It's the hardest thing, especially for people who are very successful, because they have to unlearn that previous methodology for success. But that's what sends them into that next level of growth.
Listening to the queen.
Yeah. 100%.
As queen's orders. I love that.
I'm going all over here, but it's just food for thought, right? I want to stand in this.
We're flowing. We're flow dreaming right now. Whoever's listening right now, they needed this message. I trust that fully. And you just really hit something for me personally that I've been trying to figure out. So thank you.
Oh, what is it? Do you want to share?
I'll share. Yeah.
Okay.
I had a baby 10 months ago and he's amazing. His name's Maverick. And in pregnancy, I had like pretty intense heart palpitations and I got checked out. Everything was fine. It was just like hormonal. And I haven't had them since third trimester. And I just started having them again. And they're very distracting. Like I get them like a few times in like 5 minutes. It's very like, it's a lot. So I called the doctor, got an EKG. It's benign. I got my blood taken. Everything's good. I'm healthy. He gave me beta blockers, which I don't want to take. Right. And, so I'm trying to have this conversation with my heart as of lately. And everything that you're saying, I'm like, okay, I got the message. I feel very like high strung right now and just like tight and just like there's a lot of good things happening and it's all happening and I'm schedules and my capacity has expanded a lot and I'm just trying to hold a lot more now. And I guess it's just stress on the system, if this is making sense. So and my heart is responding and I'm like, okay, I really need to listen.
Yeah.
And just like slow down a little bit. So
I totally feel where you are. I have been with that 10-month-old baby with my own coaching business that's taken off. And not only that, but you have all these people that you're starting to hold now. It's not just about you holding yourself and your family, but you have everybody you're serving. If you're like me, you become very invested in them. So it's kind of like now I'm holding all of this. And there is the increased capacity part of it, right? Because you're trying to figure out how much is there of me what can I expand into? What is the space that I currently have that I can expand into? And it's delightful. Like that's part of, growth, creation, and success, right?
Yes.
Fulfillment. On the other side of things. Sometimes our body will tell us things that our minds just don't want to hear. And the body will say, look, I know that you can do all this, but I'm not there yet. I'm catching up. I'm still getting hormonally correct. I'm still, not getting sleep. I need something. Come listen to me. Come listen to me. So I will go into actually my flow space sometimes, and I'll do this with myself and with my own clients when they're having issues. And I'll say, let's go just talk to that part of you. If you want to talk about another weird pregnancy story, I'll share one of mine with you.
Okay. Yes. And then I was going to say, if you want, we don't have to, but if you want, do you want to take me through, do you want to show everyone and take me through the flow for a minute?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
But
tell me.
The first time I discovered this, I was actually pregnant with my second, and my little daughter was like 2.5, 3. And I'm in the house looking around and where is she? Oh. Somehow she had managed to get out the front door, run down the street, and decided she wanted to go to grandma's house. So she was booking her little butt up this very busy road. And I am pregnant. I am big. So I start running after her. And pregnant ladies should not be running in a panic on busy streets. I went right down on the sidewalk, right on my stomach. One of those car stopping events. People stop, they get out, they're picking me up. And I'm like, don't pick me up. Somebody go get my, drive. She's a block away. I can see her little butt up the street. Get her, bring her back. So, talk about relying on the kindness of strangers. Everyone helped me, but it sent me into premature labor. So I went to the hospital, and the nurse was saying to me, oh, you're going to have this baby tonight. And I said, no, I'm not. I am not having a preemie. I am not risking this. I'm not no. And so that's when I actually went in, and I, strangely enough, I said, I've got to talk to my uterus. I've got to talk, not to the baby, but to the uterus, and let it know you got scared. You were frightened. You're shaken up, but you're going to be okay. and we're not going to do this, and you're going to be good. So next thing I know, I wake up in the morning, no more labor pains. The nurse is quite, disgruntled, sends me home. And I went, oh my God, that works. That works. So it works. It works.
Really does. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Right. So, yeah. So I guess this is about flow dreaming for healing, because what we're talking about is physical healing, but it's also emotional healing, energetic healing, any kinds of debris that gets stuck in you, honestly.
It's so true.
If you do it, we can.
Okay. I'm down. If you're down with it, I would love to show people really what it is.
Okay. So when I go into my process, I always close my eyes because I find that visual stimuli just takes up way too much percentage of your brain. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes too. And you might be used to meditation or whatever your practices are. But I don't want you to get quiet. I want you to do something else. Just take a deep breath with me, and we'll try and do this pretty quickly. Anybody listening can do it as well, and go talk to whatever part of their body needs some help, some love, some reassurance.
Do this with me, everyone.
Breath. Yeah, deep breath. All we're doing right now is we're just telling our body that it can take a time out for 10 minutes, 5 minutes. All the things it's doing can be put on hold, and it'll go right back to them. It won't forget anything. It won't drop anything. It has permission to just sort of step out the door and be in the warmth of the sunlight for a few moments. Keep breathing, shoulders dropping. Roll the neck and the jaw. Notice where your body is currently holding its tension. It's always holding it. From all the things that you've done and felt today, your mind takes some in, your body takes the rest in, and it holds at certain places. You know where yours are. Let them go. And keep breathing. Go ahead now and envision with me. Just daydream. Imagine. Pretend. Pretend you're walking along a stream, and this stream is full of light. It bubbles and it gurgles, and maybe you can look down at the bottom and there's all these gemstones of varying colors that just glitter and sparkle. Maybe there's a stream of energy that flows along top of it like a beautiful light, like a mist, and you're drawn just to walk in the stream, beside the stream. You don't think about, where's the stream going? Is this right? You just look ahead and you realize it's just like walking along the shore of a beach. I don't ask myself if the shoreline is right or not. I just walk. It will be right. This is right. This is my future. This is my perfect alignment. This is my flow. This is my state of ease. This is my being, evolving, becoming something else, becoming something different and beautiful, moment by moment, all the things I experience. I just want to sink into it. I just want to put out my arms as if I had wings and lean in and let myself be carried in this marvelous alignment of self, alignment of all things. I can feel too, there's a body of mine, a physical self. I'm aware of it. It's there. Oh God, how I love this body. What a beautiful thing. The only thing I'll have with me from the moment I arrive to the moment I leave, the only thing, all the people I love will come and go on their own agendas, their own timelines. But this body of mine, we're thick as thieves. It's just us. This body came here. This body is committed to me. This body said, I am here for you. Let's get done anything you want to do, anything you choose to do. I am here for you. You put your hands right now on your heart. You've been noticing your heart wants to speak. Your heart has ideas. Your heart has things that it's kept quiet. It's mumbled. And you said it's not as important as this other thing. I've got these other things that I'm doing and becoming and growing. And the heart says, okay, I hear you. Okay. You can feel your heart when it mumbles and it grumbles. And maybe it makes those little noises and pitter patters and flutters. It's like a little bird in a nest, and it keeps turning and flapping its wings and wondering, I'm waiting. Come talk to me. I have things to share. I have things that I want done a little differently. I have things that I need. I'm here for you. Don't you know how much I love you? This is why I am here, just listening and holding and being and being quiet and standing down every now and then, making little noises. And you come to your heart and you just want to enfold it in your arms and say, oh, I hear you. I'm listening. And you're right. You're as important. You're more important than anything in my life. Maybe accepting my children, but frankly, without you healthy and alive and strong, I wouldn't have the ability to even be here doing anything. You're primary. You are me. You're a part of my physical self, my whole being. And I don't value one part over another. I value you just as much. Can you feel it? Can I show that? Can I send you that feeling right now so that you know that? You know how much I love you, how much I adore you. You know how grateful I am for you? Talk to me, communicate. You don't have to do it in a way that gets my attention or alarms me. Just be gentle with me. And I promise in return, I will listen. I will listen more. I will give you time to speak. I'll give you time to just tell me when you need to. And then I'll follow through. You're important to me. You're everything to me. I love you. You can feel this heart. It shifts, it changes, it melts. It feels heard. Any part of your body, it feels heard. Any part that's been holding things for you, it feels heard. And you say, you can let go of some of this. I'm hearing you now. You can stop banging the drum, clanging the clangs. You can stop it. I hear you. And I promise I'll come back and I will listen more. And we have just opened the door to this dialogue. We have just opened the door. I promise this. And with that, you find yourself now letting this daydream end, returning. You're ready. Come back and open your eyes.
Wow, so cool.
So I want to ask you what you felt, but I also want to point out a few differences so people understand that it's not the meditation or the self-hypnosis, etc.
Yeah.
What did you feel?
I felt like you were channeling from me. I felt like you were channeling like directly from my heart.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it was just like a really profound, just like resonance and just like a softening. I felt like a really big softening in my heart, my chest. Yeah.
Felt that too.
Yeah. It was
One of
really
the strange
cool.
things about flow is that when I'm going and looking, it's really like looking at someone present, past, and future. Where they've been, that's all the energy in them, where they are presently, all the stuff around them, and then sort of like the leading edges of where they're moving toward or heading toward. And whether it's the physical self or any, variation, I always say our bodies are like the lowest bass notes of a chord, right? Then you've got these higher and higher notes, but it's all the same chord. They're all connected together. So,
Love that.
yeah, so that's who I was talking to, your heart. And I was trying to pay attention to everybody else's because some people were like, it's not my heart. And I'm like, that's okay. Go wherever you need to go.
Go where you need to go. Yes. And what's
But,
interesting is I feel like everyone needs to tune more into their heart. So it kind of is so universal.
and I have to say, it's one of those things that we live in a very young centered society, an era. There's a lot of masculinity, a lot of outward motion, even manifesting, is creation as opposed to receiving, right? It's outward as opposed to inward, the way most people practice it. So I think we have a kind of worldwide deficit of the heart at the moment.
Yeah.
Because of our cultures.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah.
So do that again later. You made it. If you make a promise to your being, you must follow through on that promise. It will be listening for it.
Yeah. It's going to be waiting for me to do that.
Yeah. Okay. So the differences.
Yes.
I talked a lot. I talked with emotion. this is why I don't want your people are like, isn't that just like subconscious programming or, whatever? And I'm like, it shouldn't be. I don't want you to just be receiving stuff. I don't want your subconscious just drenched with good feelings. I want you involved and active. I want you really participatory. That includes the conscious. And you'll notice in the beginning, we went into that stream of alignment.
Yeah.
That's a whole philosophy. Like all of us have, there's the absolute wreck, nothing working, total resistance, and everything flowing, absolute lack of resistance, everything in absolute alignment. Now, let's say we have both of that in our potentiality as beings. Most of the time, we're not even tracking where we are in that spectrum. Sometimes we're in lots of resistance, and sometimes we accidentally say, oh my God, I had the best day ever. Everything just went right. And we just kind of let it happen to us.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's not just let it happen. Let's be mindful and guide that into happening. Let's move more and more often as we can into that state of total lack of resistance or flow. That's you with everything in front of you, like nothing getting in your way, everything clear and revealed. So that's why I often take people into that essential aligned flow state in the beginning. And that's why I bring in emotion. Right?
It works. It works. It works.
Yeah.
So do you have like an app or some, like, how can people tune into Flowdreaming on the regular?
Oh, sister, I've got everything.
Oh,
I've been a busy lady over the years.
Oh my goodness. I want to do this every day.
I have an app actually, the Flowdreaming for Meditation and Manifesting app. It's basically that I've produced like almost 300 of these recorded flow dreams, all of them similar. Sometimes I call them meditations when I really am just saying, hey, you're tired. You don't have emotional capacity right now. You can listen to this as you fall asleep and just let it drench, and get the subconscious going as well. But most of them have that emotional urgency in them. And a lot of people don't even have emotional capacity right now because they're still really tired and bludgeoned from the last few years. So sometimes we just have to start with, hey, where's your emotional self? Can you get those feelings? Can you learn to like allow and trust and love up those feelings? And we start there. Then once you start to get some emotion we can work with. Anyway, the app has all of these on all different topics. Some basic stuff like manifesting money or a new house, just like the stuff of human nature. But a lot of them really focus on, I want to go beyond fear. I want to be seen in a bigger way by the world. I want to feel absolutely true on purpose with my talents, just revealing themselves to me day after day. Like I do a lot of inner things.
Love that.
Because I want you to practice those. If you want to be in those, if you want to create those, don't wait for life to give you reasons to feel that.
Ooh.
Don't wait for life to give you opportunities for that. That's not life's job. Your job is to tell life, this is what I'm going for. Here's an exact template of the feelings that I want to have tomorrow and next month. You set up things for me that will get me to those feelings. So anyway, I have an app and I have a website, flowdreaming.com. And all those flow dreams are there as well. And then I've got courses and books.
What's your new book called? What's your new book called?
It's called Stuff Nobody Taught You. And it's based on a year-long program called Me School. Unfortunately, I've taught Me School live now for 10 years. Wow. And I'm doing my very last class because it's time for me to kind of shift into some other areas. Wow. But I figure a good decade was a lot.
The fact that you have ran that class for a decade is honestly so amazing. It's so amazing.
Yep.
Wow. Yep. You're incredible. I'm so honored to meet you and to know you and to do this episode together. So cool.
Well, I can't wait to interview you right back and learn all about your world.
Yay. I'm excited to connect more with you.
Oh, so and it'll be on my podcast, Flowdreaming. I forgot.
I was just going to say, you have a podcast called Flowdreaming. And I have to ask you, because I ask everyone this, Summer, what makes you a badass manifester?
Damn, girl, everything.
Yes.
You know what? I'll tell you, for me, the biggest secret, I mentioned that one, beyond fear. There was a point in my life, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, when I realized that everything I wanted, there was really only one thing stopping me and blocking me, whether it was in relationships or my money or building my company or anything. And I said, time and time again, it's fear. It's I go right up to the doorway of the next thing. And then I pull back and I say stupid things like, oh, I need more evidence, or I'm going to wait for a better time, or I need to wait till I have more capacity for this or more this or that. I boiled it down. Every single one of those was a response to some fear. If I do it now, it won't work. If I do it now, I won't be rewarded. If I do it now, I won't be seen. If I do it now. So I said to the universe, if there's one thing I can get rid of this year, it's fear. So I made a promise to myself. If I ever felt fearful about doing anything, I would then be I would force myself to do it. I would absolutely do it. So It was tough. Because think about all those emails you don't want to answer, phone calls you don't want to make, conversations you don't want to have, risking yourself, putting money into things. That's a tough one. A lot of people won't put money down on things because I don't know if I'm going to get, I don't know if I'll get anything out of it. I'll be disappointed in myself.
I don't know if I can do it. Yeah. I mean,
fear.
Yes.
So
you're speaking to all my coaches right now listening, because
everything will start opening for you once you do that. And the universe will probably give you a couple of things that will really test you through that. That led to the greatest increase in personal power in my life.
Everyone listening. Yes. Badassery. That's so good. That's so good. I have this conversation, this piece of it over and over again with people that come in, that want to come into the world of coaching, because we certify coaches and that's what we do. And we have a coaching certification, and it's that same fear of, well, what if I do this, or what if I invest in this and it just doesn't work out for me? Well, it's not going to work out. Like, if you don't actually do it, then it's not going to work out for you, right? Like, you have to do the thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I could be a little cavalier now about that. I'm like, so what? It doesn't work out. Are you
going
to just sit on that and just kick back for the rest of your life and not pursue it? No, you're going to have to do it again sooner or later. When? When are you going to? One of my favorite expressions is the only way out is through.
Amen.
Only way out is through. So you could risk being totally disappointed in yourself. Great. Go take that risk. You can't I would say everything you want is on the other side of that. Everything you want is on the other side of that fear or that self-doubt, that not wanting to lose trust in yourself. Right. Yeah. But you know what? We'll work on repairing those the whole way. The whole time we'll work on fixing those.
It's all figure outable.
Yeah. That's another way of saying it.
I love that. Wow. Such a good episode. Oh my goodness. So many good, beautiful pieces of wisdom in here. Thank you so much. Where can everyone find you and connect with you? I know you said your website is flowdreaming.com. Are you on Instagram as well?
Oh, I am so lazy on Instagram. It is pathetic. I put up pictures of my flowers and crystals and my cats.
Love it.
So you can, but I'm just having fun there. Mostly my website and my app and my podcast are really the best ways. I even have something on the website where I'll give you, if you fill out a form, I will give you some personalized guidance for free. Actually, I will personally email you back. It takes me some time. So I often get a month behind on these. But I'm basically helping you figure out what you need to do first.
Awesome.
If you're embarking on this journey. So that's a good resource for people.
Okay. We'll put that in the show notes for everyone to easily click on. Thank you so much. Go listen to Summer's podcast, Flowdreaming. Go buy her new book that's called Stuff Nobody Taught You, and just be in her energy even more. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ashley. Terrific conversation, terrific interview, and I can't wait to talk to you again.
Woo! We did some work today. Thank you so much for listening. You know I love my BAM fam. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who you know would love it too, because we live for the ripple effect over here. And how can you best support the show? Make sure you're subscribed, hit the 5 stars, and leave a review on iTunes, and let me know how the podcast has impacted you. I love being part of your real-time journey, so screenshot the episode and tag me and my guests on Instagram at Manifest with Ash. Now say it with me. I am my own power source. I am the master of my own energy, and I deserve everything that I desire. We don't just talk about it over here, we be about it. Now go get 'em.